Hello and welcome to our parody live stream. Unfortunately, I did not pick parody entrances. That might have been fun. However, we're going to bring in some funny people using various things. Please
You're
welcome.
going to burn in a very special level of hell. A level they reserve for child molesters and people who talk at the theater.
Hello, White Dragon.
Yes. I swear it wasn't my fault that I burned down the city.
Mm-hmm.
It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Welcome.
Thank you. Greetings.
And I feel it's only appropriate since we've done another parody. Please welcome.
And if you don't like it, no offense, but you have boring taste and I don't want to be friends with you.
Hey, look, it's Willems. I miss you, buddy. How's the green titty milk? Hello, everybody.
Tailgate is the bestest ever, and you're just your opinion's wrong.
Well, welcome to the Enrichifier for the first time on the stream. He's an up-and-coming YouTuber who's done some really good stuff from what I can see. I'm really impressed by your body of work.
Well, thank you. Yeah, you originally found me through the Rise of Skywalker review that I did.
Yes.
And that was definitely my longest review. Yeah.
How did you survive that?
Simple. When you are when it's the summer and you have a job that's out mowing lawns and you're in quarantine and basically you're in a college city when there's no college people around, you find a decent amount to do. And so that's how I got into that, and also just got inspired from watching people's reviews and really thinking about it. I was like, wow, there is way more wrong to this film than I thought, because when I originally saw it the first time, I was just like, eh. Then I think about it more and more, and it's like, holy cow, like, what were they thinking?
Everything they said everything they did was wrong.
Everything. So I made that review. Took quite a while, but was really happy with it. Posted it up, and it got picked. It got picked up. Like, more people were starting to see it. Like a month or two after it was posted. I guess like the algorithm or whatever picked it up and started getting comments and things. And yeah, it's so far my most successful review in terms of views, likes, and also subscriber following. It's gotten me the most subs. So
fantastic. That's excellent. And I look forward to seeing you get more success as time goes on. This should be fun.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate it.
I mean, yes.
So I've broken it up into. I don't know how long this will be. Since this is kind of a simple talk. This is kind of a simple topic, but what I'm going to divvy it up into is spoofs, which is to say, humorous imitation of something, typically a film or genre. In film, when its characteristic features are exaggerated for comic effect. Examples of this include like both the movies and notebook stuff, but I decided to separate in parody. Parody is pretty similar to spoof. They're all pretty similar. An imitation of a particular writer, artist, or genre with deliberate exaggeration. So it's kind of like just going over multiple things.
Like Spaceballs is what I would think is a parody of Star Wars.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then satire is the use of humor, irony, exaggeration, or ridicule to expose people's stupidity or vices, particularly in the context of contemporary politics and other topical issues.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the how I would kind of separate this out in terms of...
Okay, spoofs versus parodies. Can we clarify the distinction?
I would say that a spoof... usually a spoof is something specific, or like has a lot. For me, like spoofs would be, I would characterize, like I put the movies in the realm of the spoofs.
Yeah.
Even though they are possibly, I think these are some of the worst movies in existence.
Yeah.
I feel
so a spoof is
that these can be in the same category as Top Secret Airplane.
Yeah. And parody would be some.
A parody of Airplane would be the what was it, the Jake Paul airplane mode movie? That would be.
How do you?
I'm not sure what I'm doing.
How do you make a parody of a Brain Help?
I'm sorry, but I'm not sure I'm not sure whether what I've done is spoof or parody.
I think kind of humorous imitation versus an imitation. Well,
okay, so parody is like spoof is a specific thing that you're taking and you do a parody of it, and a parody is more general.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a parody could be a parody of a genre versus spoof a parody of a particular work.
Yeah, like for instance, Austin Powers is kind of a parody of a lot of things, but especially the spy films that Mike Myers grew up with his dad, because that's why he made it.
Yeah, because the things I've been doing have been written parodies, not films recently. When I was a teenager, I did parody films, but with a friend of mine, because I was a teenager, they were not very good.
Most of the stuff we make when we're teenagers is bad, don't worry.
Yes.
Very edgy and dumb shit.
Mine wasn't necessarily, my books weren't necessarily like edgy. They were just like, ooh, what is cool? And though thankfully people should be grateful for that, because out of that mentality came Dragon Blasters. And I'm now editing that ready for
and that would be along the lines of parody. And then there are like weird things that kind of riff off of something but aren't. For example, I have a weird, well, not just I and some of my friends have this weird Tolkien worshipping ultra-capitalist cult website. And so does that fall? I guess that would fall under satire. But then there's elements of it that are also parody, because there are specific texts. Some of them are like spoofs. More like spoofs, maybe. And they're like weird. Usually there's some kind of weird lens through which you're doing it.
Yeah. The thing is with like satire and parody, a lot of them kind of go hand in hand. Like they're both satirical and they're both parody. You know, they can fit into, you know, both of them. You know, it's kind of hard to separate them out. They like to fit in just one a lot of the times. They're out there, but you know, a lot of the times they're both. Yeah,
or spoofs too. Yeah, because you put an element of satire into the work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and that's definitely there when I do them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So, in terms of like specific like elements, what would you say like are the things that like go into making a good parody work of fiction?
Well, one thing to bear in mind is you need to have. There's a notion that kind of annoys me, which there are no standards. You don't have to worry about it. Some published parodies, parodies or spoofs, are kind of like this. There was the Harry Potter one, the Harry Potter and the something ripoff, and I'm like, dude, saying that this is a ripoff and it's bad is not necessarily making it ipso facto funny.
Yeah, like Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fur T-shirt going around where they're all puppy dogs.
At least that sounds cute.
That's an actual thing, actually.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, this guy.
Like a cash grab to me.
Yeah, well, this guy got pranked by his friends because he hates puns, and he
must really hate Arnold then.
Well, I don't know. I think I don't know why, but he like he hates like pun like he said, I'm not wearing a pun shirt a while back, where he said like, does that say Witch and Famous? Why does that say Witch? Why does that shirt say Witch and Famous?
So many puns.
Yeah, and then like he said, hey, I got a present for you. and she opens it up. And it's Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fur by B.G. Growling.
Growling.
And then his eyes just go wide, and he's like, "You son of a witch! I just got that shirt. Yeah, we knew. I wouldn't have given her that, you dick."
Man, just change the rhyming of it, and it's brilliant, I guess.
So don't just write whatever. That's one thing. Another thing is don't put too much sex in it because it gets old. A third is helps to have some kind of lens through which you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I have never seen any of these epic or movies in a long time, so I don't know how they play out.
They're basically like, it's basically all lowbrow stuff. Like, and there's no like clever dialogue. It's mostly like dumb jokes, like a talking beaver. Either like they say, "Oh, talking beaver," and just kick it like a soccer ball.
What's funny about that?
It's not. That's
the imagery, I guess.
Yeah, and also like it's a lady kicking it, so maybe they're going for the alternative meaning of the word beaver.
No comment.
That's why like these movies are bad. There's also like weird like sex stuff, like apparently like in the Narnia, like the epic movie, which is basically a combination of Narnia, Pirates of the Caribbean, Harry Potter, Willy Wonka, and Click, all rolled into one movie.
Now actually it's coming back to me.
And it's really, really painful to watch.
That's a good way to describe those films. The scary movie, epic movie, date movie. Like I saw a couple clips and I'm just like, I'm hurting right now. I don't want to watch this anymore.
Like when when Willy Wonka starts dismembering the kids for candy parts.
I don't ever remember that. I remember a scene they were making fun of Narnia, and then like they opened up the wardrobe, a bunch of shit fell out, and there was a naked woman, and that's all I remember. They came out of the closet.
How hilarious.
Nudity.
Yeah.
Oh, that is very funny, and it's got excrement too. That's hilarious. Ha ha ha.
So this will be made by someone like this. What do you think, Dan?
Looks good.
Oh,
Dan Weiss.
Yeah. Though we have our final guest, please.
Coincidence? I think not.
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry for tardiness.
This is shit.
Greetings. It's okay. I was late too. My computer was a piece of rubbish. Pardon me.
I think I overheard you talking about epic movie.
Isn't it so epic?
We're talking about
funny story about that. When I was about 13, my father, he took me to a movie. It was epic movie. It was under my recommendation. I am an awful piece of shit. That was one of the worst movie going experiences I've ever had.
Well, but you asked for it in the first place.
I would hurt my father. I would hurt my father if he took me to see that film.
Time to execute Order 66 on your father now.
Because I'm the one who said, Dad, let's go see that. That looks funny. Because I'm a stupid 13-year-old.
Yeah.
I feel sorry.
I feel sorry for Dad. That was just painful.
I just imagine fucking the Order 66 theme playing in the background, the sad one, as you're watching it. It's like he's slowly going into madness.
No. Dad, Order 66 playing as Dad pulls out a loaded gun and just puts it to his head.
Good soldiers follow orders.
or to your head.
Oh, that's scary. Wait. Dad, can you tell me about the rabbits again? Boom.
Yeah, it's just like, it is one of, like, I've only watched Film Brain's review, and the clips that he showed made me want to gouge my eyes out.
Oh, we sat through the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, like when Borat, like for some reason, Borat is like when the kids leave Narnia, like gnarly, and leave, and then for some reason a wheel just rolls over them at the end and kills them.
Oh, how hilarious!
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny.
Yeah, you get
Laugh,
it.
damn you! Laugh, you sheep!
Yeah,
Just consume product.
Or when they make, or when they have what's her face?
No, we lost the lightsaber guy.
Oh dear. When we had the Magneto chick, like what's it? Mystique. Like,
oh my god! Like I actually remember that. I can kill myself now.
Oh, hopefully he comes back. Yeah.
He saw that we're gonna derail this conversation, so he's like, "Fuck this shit, I'm out."
Okay.
Who ran out of here?
The Enrichifier. I think maybe his internet maybe died or something.
Yeah,
it's raining over here, so my stuff might cut out soon.
I think that kind of illustrates like some of the problems that come with like you can fall into a spoofs where you're just throwing out references.
I can agree, but at the same time, I could make I don't know whether this would follow because I'm not as familiar with 1980s or late 70s cinema, but Airplane, one of the quintessential satire movies, in my opinion, and I know that entire movie is just a giant parody of the airport movies. But I'm not sure again, because I wasn't alive in the 70s, whether or not there's a lot of references to airport in it and I'm just missing them.
Well, the thing is, it's funny on its own. Epic Movie feels like it's just a mix-up of a bunch of trailers.
Okay, that's for some reason, all I can ever remember from that movie is the chicken wings line when they're making fun of Archangel from X-Men.
Can I pick up on something the Dun chap just said, which is funny on its own, and that's the satire or parody should be amusing regardless of whether you get a whole lot of references or not.
Oh no, that's kind of the rule, I think, for parody. It's that the rule should be like you can satirize what you're doing, but it needs to be able to stand on its own 2 feet. Again, like Airplane can, or
oh my god, I love that.
That is a great movie.
Top Secret.
Top Secret. What's that one with Leslie Nielsen? Not Golden Gun. Naked Gun. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the part where he's like, this guy is shooting at him is like, I got a message for you, and he starts shooting at him. He's like, what? I can't hear you. You're shooting at me.
I personally, I don't know whether this was Naked Gun, but I like the one where he's going like, so tell me what you know. I don't know. My memory's kind of foggy. Why don't you, I could use some help with it. He gives him money and he says, now, what do you want to know? I don't know. My memory's kind of foggy. And then he gets his money back.
Okay, yeah, that is amusing.
And I think the part of it is, and I think the part of it is kind of like the shift kind of came in. I actually think like Doug Walker actually did a decently insightful video about like the downfall of spoof movies, and just said like part of it was this first Scary Movie.
Yeah.
Where it was funny because it was satirizing the entire horror genre. But the problem was it was really obvious with its humor as well as it being really dirty jokes. So they saw that was a big hit, so they just kept doing that.
Right. But it's such, how to describe this? This Epic Movie, Scary Movie, I think this was also, let's face it, that one knows its audience. It's a bunch of people who go to the movie theater either high off their ass or drunk off their ass and are just sitting there going as they stare at the screen.
or have no cognitive thought of their own.
I will admit, and I hate to say this, but there was one line from Scary Movie 3 that did get to me, where they're saying like, "Oh, he woke up dead," and then I think Kenan Thompson is saying, "How do you wake up dead?" No, man, you go to bed alive, but then you wake up dead, and it just keeps going for about 30 seconds. He says, "Damn, man, that's some quantum mechanics shit. You should be teaching that in college or something."
Well,
and it was just such a Kenan Thompson's performance in that really sold that, though. Like, it was the kind of conversation you'd have with Kenan and Kel.
But that's an inherently funny line anyway. You wake up dead. That's inherently amusing regardless.
It is amusing, but I'm just saying, like, Kenan Thompson's performance really sold that. Only good line in the movie.
Yeah. We have back our friend, the Enrichifier.
Hello, something happened. I guess my internet went out.
Yeah, and I turned into a ship now.
Yeah.
You identify as a ship. What pronoun do I use?
She, her.
No, it would be she, her, yeah.
I guess that's...
Let's go
and the yeeter of U-boats. There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
So I think the part of it is just like lack of focus is the major problem with a lot of recent parody movies and spoof movies.
Yeah, they rely too much on what, like, just being a parody or like references. That's something they do a lot. Like, oh, we'll just throw in a reference and the audience will applaud or something like that.
Like in Meet the Spartans, which is basically 300 meets crossed with Meet the Parents, where
I thought it was the Fockers.
Or Meet the Fockers or whatever. And then for whatever and just for whatever reason, instead of Leonidas coming on a wolf, he sees a penguin and he says, "You got happy feet."
Meet the Fockers.
And then for whatever reason, like, he's only got like 7 people like with him, and then they hold up this Persian army, and at the end Xerxes gets so annoyed that he like turns on this Megatron armor, Transformers armor and just starts walking, and then he gets unplugged and topples over and kills all of the Spartans.
Wow. How easy?
I don't know. Probably not in good shape. I think that.
Oh yeah, that must have been like when the first Transformers movie came out, the first Michael Bay.
To be fair, those kind of movies have fallen way out of favor in recent years.
Oh
like,
yeah, like after like, I think they've kind of like there's like the Starving Games and Love Bites were the examples of this, and the Haunted House movies, but those were years ago.
Wait, I'm wrong. There was one, 50 Shades of Black, which I saw in theaters.
Oh yeah, I remember that coming.
Me and my friend saw that, and it was painful, but 2, I was dating a black girl at the time, lovely girl and everything. I called her up right after and said, "I'm insulted. This is." I said,
black people.
I said to her straight up, "You know Marlon Wayans?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Tell him I want my fucking money back."
Yeah, I would too.
I want like 8 hour.
I want my
3
time
hours
back.
of my life back.
Yeah.
I want my 2 hours back.
I want my time, my money, and I want my life back. That was insulting.
You need to give me money for that, you piece of shit.
What was like out of the 2? Was Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas a worse experience, or was
I felt brain dead for the most part on that movie.
Okay, for 50 Shades, this was years ago, like 2016, so about 4 years ago. 50 Shades was that kind of raunch. It was that kind of raunchy thing, if you know what I mean. Like it was like that kind. But there's one point where I think Marlon Wayans is literally reading from the book, and he's reading it to it while he's while he's plowing his fields, if you will. And the thing is, he's reading it as he's doing it or something. And then he puts the book down and says, "Who writes this shit?" And I said, "Who writes your shit? Jesus!"
That brings up, really quick. That brings up another decent point, is that a lot of these parody films or films that make fun of something in regards to a genre or whatever, usually will make fun of it, but then do it unironically later. Like they'll say, "Oh, but we're making fun of it, so it's okay for us to do it."
Fucking potty jokes and fucking dumb childish shit.
But to answer your question, I think, in truth, I think that Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas was the worst movie, just because that one was just painful and wrong on every level. So
fuck you, Dud.
It's kind of hard to parody it. I mean, how would you parody that? How can you parody St. Nicholas beating someone up?
Oh my god, that was like the only good part because it was so weird and dumb.
That was bizarre on so many levels. But I actually did take my cousins to see the whatever the Twilight one was. But when we walked out,
Love Bites,
whatever the fuck it was called, man. All I know is when we walked out, I turned to them and said, that was still better than any of the fucking books.
Wow.
And I think I figured out why, and this is going to shock you. Bella in the parody had more agency than in the books or the movies.
Oh, nice. Shit. Shots fired. Oh, no.
I don't know if that means that I doubt it means the parody. I guess that means the parody was more competently written. I have no idea, though.
Wow. Oh my god. Can you imagine if they made an adaptation of Twilight, but it was written by David Benioff? It was just incoherent.
No. That would be awful. That would
it's like they forget a crucial character. We kind of forgot about this character.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Give it to Alex Kurtzman, and he'll find a way to ruin it even more.
We'll give it to David Benioff, Ryan Johnson, J.J. Abrams.
I think that Alex I don't know of anybody who Trekkies hate more than Alex Kurtzman.
Yeah, everywhere I hear they just he's basically their antichrist. It's like, you ruined this franchise. It's like, and it also gives me slight encouragement. Like, if you're a writer looking for work in Hollywood, if they are willing to hire that person, you may have a shot.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that, because
especially watching season 8, I'm like, wow, I can actually be a writer if this is the level of writing that we're seeing.
Yeah, we could all do better than that. But has anyone read the Star Trek parodies?
The Star Trek parodies?
Yeah.
No, I don't even think I've heard of those.
Oh my god, when a fucking parody movie has more internal consistency than a $1 billion fucking TV show.
Yeah, they're not very good. They're not very good. There was only one amusing moment, which is when we find out that Roxana Troy is also the computer. That was the only funny bit that I can remember.
That's a good point, actually.
What's a good point? I can't see.
I wonder if it's sometimes hard to have comedy characters who don't have agency. Comedy seems inherently more active than other genres.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think it really depends, because I think it's probably because bad things continuously happen to the person, and if they're not doing anything, it's boring. In reaction, they need to react to the bad thing that is happening, or else it's not funny.
Right.
And with a good parody, it's helpful to have some kind of a lens. So if there's a lens, then you've got some. If you do have a lens other than dirty jokes, then there's some kind of guiding idea behind the thing. So it has a certain unity in that sense. So the characters, so that would help in terms of more coherent, maybe.
And a good example of some good parodies is actually VeggieTales, ironically enough.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I saw Oh, what was it? The Jonah one, like with the guy who gets swallowed by the whale when I was in elementary school.
Oh
The scene where God is fucking with Jonah in the Go Fish game is like, Jesus.
It's just something like I think like even in that short, like when he's out in the water, like Jonah's out in the water with his little inflatable ducky, and then like something brushes past him. I think they play like a try to imitate the Jaws theme.
That's what happened after he lost the Go Fish game. The pirates threw him overboard with a little rubber ducky because it's pouring rain, and then the moment he's off the boat, the rain just stops, and they go, "Oh, I think we can pull him back in," and then he's just eaten.
Yeah, and then the whale just swallows him, but it's a giant one.
That is like interesting parody of a biblical scripture.
Well, that's what all VeggieTales is. I mean, VeggieTales. Yeah.
VeggieTales did Lord of the Rings.
That was hilarious. Yes, it was so hilarious that because they do songs, they make it a musical. Like they made it like a musical and had freaking Joe and like the thing. One of the thing with the characters like he likes waffles. Or like whatever, and other things.
He's a cookie baker. Oh no, he's a cookie baker, and he gets the sporks, who are forks and spoon combination, which are the
god, that's awful.
Orcs.
Yes,
the orc cookies, and he converts them to their side by giving them cookies.
Come to the light side. We have cookies. Yes.
So, anyone read Board of the Rings? Are we just doing films, or can we do books as well?
We can do books, yeah.
And writing. Is it just can we do things we've written, or just
whichever? I think that actually sounds like a good idea.
Because if we're just doing films, I can't say very much about it.
We're trying to. I just trying to like pick some well-known imagery for it.
Because in terms of Lord of the Rings, there's a couple of there's the book Board of the Rings is actually one of the better printed parodies, even though the best part is like the first couple of chapters. They have like Tom Bombadil turns into Tim Benzedrine, and he's a drug addict. And he makes
oh my god, the fucking EFAP fucking watch when they were watching the fucking Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Rings. They were just turning it into a fucking weed drug
allegory.
Make mine Benzedrino and stuff like that. You probably had to be there. And then a bunch of us did a parody of Lord of the Rings, but then the problem is it's a collaborative parody, and that has its own special problems because you have
it kind of becomes a mess and gets muddled, I assume.
Because you've got so many different people and they all have their own ideas, and you have to try to mesh them together somehow. And some people just want to go off and do that. They have their own special idea, which is incoherent. It does not consistent with anyone else's, and then that ends up having to be kind of jettisoned, and it just gets to be kind of a mess. I mean, you can have good things in it, but the thing is, the totality will not be very good necessarily. It's still there online somewhere. I wrote a few chapters for that, but there were like maybe half a dozen of us who did good chapters. So the good bits are good, but the bad bits are really, really bad, because then we get to things like sex is funny, dirty things are funny, and so forth.
Yeah. And ultimately, like, the funny stuff comes from either you got to have a really good understanding of the thing you're parodying, because if you don't understand it, it's not going to be funny. Like, the Austin Powers films understand James Bond really well, and so they just ramp the kind of ridiculous stuff about James Bond to 11. And the funniest part is Austin Powers predicted Spectre, which is funny to me.
Spectre?
Because essentially the twist at the end is that Dr. Evil, who is a parody of Ernst Blofeld, is Austin Powers' long-lost brother.
Oh my god, you're right.
And then Spectre did that unironically.
Wow.
20 years
later.
Lazy
bastard.
Yeah, 15 years later, they did the same the fact that Ernst Stavro Blofeld is James Bond's foster brother who is really jealous of James Bond because their dad liked him more than him. Like James Bond more than him.
So.
That sounds like an entertaining concept.
I like Spectre.
I like Spectre too. There's it kind of has an extra unnecessary act.
Yeah.
There. And just because it just seems as though it kind of gets silly, and the ending is kind of.
It's very on Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah. Well, I haven't seen any Bond films besides Casino Royale, Spectre, and Skyfall.
Okay, the reason why I kind of like Spectre is for 3 films now: Skyfall's, Casino Royale, and Quantum of Solace. We have the super serious Bond movies, like Bond in the earlier days. Like, I bought my dad the collection for Christmas. Bond could be very serious but very silly as well. And let's face it, Spectre was basically going down a checklist, going like, okay, we have the Swiss Alps, we have the ski scene, we have the car chase, we have the Mexico. It was going down the checklist, but after 3 very serious movies, I kind of appreciate the more lighthearted Bond.
I do too. Like, I've seen Die Another. I actually remembered I have seen Die Another Day, which is kind of peak
silly.
That's almost a parody of Bond.
I enjoy that one too. I enjoy that one.
I enjoy it too, just for how like absurd some of it gets, like the car chase on ice.
Oh, he's in the rocket car too. I love the Weasley guy who then turns to the guy and says, "Boss, he beat your time." Like, he gives a shit.
No, not my time. Oh my god, that somehow reminds me of like the newer Fast and Furious movies,
or the stupid or the sword fight where they're just grabbing swords from all over the place, trying to cut each other on the torso.
That again, like the pacing in that movie kind of didn't give you time to think about it. It's more like, okay, this is happening now. I'm enjoying the choreography. It's very well choreographed.
But it's still kind of just the premise alone is ridiculous, and they're just fighting over like an
invitation when normally a card game would suffice.
Yeah.
Go fight to the death.
Well, not even the death. First blood from the torso.
Although my question is that why didn't anyone stop them? For Christ's sakes, they're destroying this priceless historical relics.
Because you wouldn't have a show then.
You have a point.
Yeah, but it's kind of just like Austin. Kind of the thing about Austin Powers and Spaceballs intimately understand. I haven't seen it. I need to though. But from what I understand, like it's laser focused on parodying Star Wars in particular.
Yeah.
And like saying like bits like, "Not if we jam it," and they just throw a thing of jam at
it's very Airplane in terms of pun.
Yeah, or like the Schwartz, where the lightsabers like come out of their pants like an erect.
No comment.
I know
you have a sport too.
Actually, have any of you seen Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Yes, I have seen it. I love that movie.
I fucking love that movie. That is a wonderful movie.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
My name is a sneeze. My son is a chew. Bless you. No,
it's and it's James. I think it's James Earl Jones playing a sneeze.
I don't think it is. I think it's
no, it's Isaac Hayes. I think it's Isaac Hayes.
Okay. It's like, man, white man can't jump.
it's not as
the chastity belt thing is like, that's not in the. They came up with that just because like they could come up with like just on it like subtle jokes where he's just like, oh man, and just his like nuts come up against the metal chastity belt, and he's like, dang it.
And the key that opens the greatest treasure in all the land is the chastity belt.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just like Maid Marian's wearing a chastity belt, and at one point Sheriff of Nottingham is like, "A chastity belt? Are you kidding me?" And then he grabs a jackhammer and just starts trying to break it open.
Oh no.
And it does absolutely nothing. And it's just like I think it kind of ramping up like well, actually it doesn't ramp up how horny since the Sheriff of Nottingham is really dang horny in Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Fucking Wolf will have a friend. Wolf will have a friend if only they were real people.
Yeah.
That'd be something.
Yeah.
Oh man, like going back to what you're saying about them understanding what they're parroting. I think some people get it. I would say for ones that I personally have seen, one I saw, let's see, some time ago was Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh, that was great.
Yeah, that one's pretty fun. It's just so ridiculous how like they all misunderstand. It's just so coincidental, but it's just so hilarious. And just like, oh, these people talk, like one of the images sticking to my head is just like one of the kids running up to one of them and then accidentally puts himself on the wood chipper. Just like, oh my gosh,
officer, I've got to tell you, we have had one hell of a day.
Exactly.
I love that movie. I gotta watch it again.
But it's kind of
what was that from?
Yeah, it's. Oh, go for it. Sorry. And what's the thing from the officer quote?
Oh, that's from Tucker and Dale. That's when they're holding the remains of the kid who fell in the wood chipper.
And again,
legs.
I actually just thought of another satire. Who here has watched the movie, seen the show, or read the books for Series of Unfortunate Events?
Yeah, read all the books, seen the movie.
I have no idea what that is.
Isn't that Neil Patrick Harris? Is that
or Jim Carrey, depending on your
or Jim
version.
Carrey, depending. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of that yet. No.
So it's an interesting satire of like young, like middle grade fiction, where it kind of just goes into like ridiculous territory with word puns. Like at one point there's these leeches that eat people, and all you need is a little bit of food in your stomach and they will find you and eat you.
Because you didn't go swimming after waiting 30 minutes.
Or just like this this horrible boarding school ramped up to 11, where this guy is enrolled in this class, and because they don't have classes for the baby, he just makes him his secretary.
It is such a bizarre. It's not real. It's a series of unfortunate events, to be sure, but they are so fucking bizarre. And then the titles get even more bizarre as it go on, like the penultimate peril in the second to last book.
Yeah, it's quite something.
Yeah, it is really, and like it just gets like. It's kind of the show is kind of a parody of spy stuff more than the books were, because they add VFD stuff.
A lot of cryptography and stuff, yeah.
Yeah. And like they use the tunnels from the beginning. Like in the second episode, like these two VFD people like lean forward and are like, wait. Like they're about to like bust a can on this guy with their spy glasses.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. It is one of the most bizarre freaking things.
It is so bizarre, so friggin' weird. And like at one point, there's this thing called the Incredibly Deadly Viper, but this guy named him as a prank so that he could what is it? Like he could prank his fellow people at the Herpetological Society and say, "Oh, the Incredibly Deadly Viper got out," and it's really just a teddy bear.
Yeah. It's such interesting books looking back on it. Like a lot of stuff like that would go over a child's head, like what it's really saying, if you know what I mean. Like not in terms of context, like not in terms of content, but context.
Yeah, or like what is it? Like, but I think the thing that will like keep a kid going is like the thing of, oh, you shouldn't keep reading this. It's far too bleak and far too bad.
Go read about the happy little fucking elf. Fuck off, kid.
That's actually where Valerian, if you recall, that's actually where I got the idea for some of the more like dickish lines in Dragon Blaster.
Which was? Sorry, I got distracted. Which was?
Like, if you don't want to keep reading, you can go read something about fluffy bunnies and elves or something.
Oh yeah. I do remember that bit. If you don't, it's going to get pretty horrible now. If you're frightened, go off and read about fluffy bunnies and elves. Well, those can be pretty frightening too. So is anyone other than
like,
especially about the Python and the Holy Grail taught us that bunnies can be quite dangerous.
Yeah.
I
guess it's been a meme ever since then. Although memes didn't exist in those days.
Yeah.
Tis only a footprint.
Yeah, and it's like it's all over those books, and it's just the author provoking the reader to read. And the coolest thing was they got Patrick Warburton to play Lemony Snicket, and
Lemony Snicket.
Yeah, like that's his actual that's the author's name is Daniel Handler, but he he writes as the in-world character journalist / spy Lemony Snicket.
So that's a first-person narrator.
Not really. Like he basically writes it in third person, but he'll interject in the first person at points.
Oh, so it's kind of a mixture.
Yeah, it's almost like he's kind of writing it out. Like, this person did this. This person thought this, and at some point they get into the like he just says like, and for what happened to this person, I don't know. The trail went cold.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Wow.
Meta is really always amusing.
Yeah, I think that and like that's kind of a staple of various books is like breaking the fourth wall. Like at one point in Men in Tights, during the duel between Sheriff of Nottingham and Robin Hood, there's a film crew in the window.
Oh no!
In the through the window, like they like almost like Robin Hood nearly cuts off somebody's sandwich in half.
Actually, there's another really good fourth wall line in that movie that goes. It's not even like a film crew thing. It's more of a line that Robin Hood says when they're talking, and then he says, "Well, what makes you so good?" He says, "Unlike other Robin Hoods, I speak with a British accent."
Oh well, here's a point there.
But but
because Kevin Costner cannot do an accent to save his life.
Oh, that's the beautiful thing. When the movie was dubbed, right, like in other languages, I think it was in the French, there was another line, because that pun doesn't translate due to English accents not translating in other Englishes. They said, "Well, what makes you so good?" And the thing in the French, he says, "Well, I don't Costner an arm and a leg." It's a pun. It's a weird pun, but it works. Gets the same point across.
Something. That's interesting. I can't think of any. Whenever I think of Robin Hood, all I think of is the Disney one with the fox. Robin Hood. That's all I can ever think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I saw that when it came out.
Oh yes, they do pull out scripts when he loses.
Oh yeah, they do. Wait, I get another shot. Wait, what?
Yep.
And this
writers changes.
Meta and the other one is genre savvy. One of the characters in the parody of you reading for the showcase, Bozo, he's annoyingly genre savvy. He's making genre savvy remarks. Like,
yeah,
come on, this is always this. Come on, don't you know that it's had to happen this way because that's what the genre says it has to happen.
So like Abed in Community.
Probably. Yeah. I haven't seen it, but probably, or heard that, or read that, whatever, but probably.
But the issue with that is that if you explain the joke, there is no joke. And that's why it kind of works better in Robin Hood, because they don't explain the joke, they just have him pull out the script like, what the fuck?
Yeah, he's just like, I'm not supposed to lose. And then all of the characters pull out the script and he just gets another shot because.
And then Patrick Stewart shows up as King Richard, and it's like, what the fuck?
Imagine if you did that with Game of Thrones, a parody of Game of Thrones, where they're reading the actual scripts that many of them voice in the world. Oh God, that is
actually,
wait, Graham, the fuck off, you piece of shit.
Actually,
go for it.
I would like to see. I kind of want to know how far they'd go with an epic movie version of Game of Thrones. I want to see how far they go out of sheer curiosity.
You know what? Yeah. I think it might be written better too. More internal consistency.
You know what? If they just read some of his script, like Her Satanic Majesty's Request or Sansa and Jon Failed Geography, is this going to be an epic showdown? She's curious, bug, or what is it? Will this be an epic duel? No. That's in the actual script.
What that last bit is that sounds like a parody, but then so does They Failed Geography also sounds like a parody.
No, the Jon Snow from Season 7. She's cute as a beetle or something.
She's cute as a bug. Yeah, I just quoted that one.
Which is like, yes.
She's cute as a bug. And Danny thinks maybe he's not as dumb as he looks.
He looks.
She turns out to be wrong there.
Yeah. Amelia Clark is very cute. She's adorable.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's true. Cuter than a bug.
It's definitely the simping material right
there. Simping implies mediocrity, baby.
Don't say that word, we'll get banned. Oh, wait, no, that's Twitch. Sorry.
Whoa, well, close one.
Yeah. So satire is a little bit different than parody. Parody kind of is generalized. I think a lot of people claim, Just Right claims that Marvel movies are parodies of themselves because of their use of bathos, which is just
Just Right's an idiot. So
that is true, but it's kind of how far does bathos go? And that's why he liked Black Panther, because it was sincere, and it was sincere.
No, that one's the parody if I've ever seen one, and I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Oh, Black Panther.
Black Panther's bad.
I've never seen Black Panther.
Me neither. That's the only Marvel movie I haven't seen, and I just don't care to.
Yeah, it's like I walk out of it.
I think I might do a reaction to it. That's probably the only reason I might actually watch it.
I've seen it 3 times and it not changing quality at all. It's just the same.
Listen, it's called Black Panther, and you open in Harlem on the basketball court. It's already a fucking parody.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, or the weirdest thing is audiences went nuts for that movie. And they
also went nuts for Mandalorian. I mean, people are dumb.
Well, arguably, Black Panther is more successful than Mandalorian because nobody's claiming that Mandalorian is a deep themed.
I bet there's a lot of people who might say that.
No.
I doubt it.
No.
Mandalorian. No, you will die.
Okay. I'm going to say this right now. Mandalorian is deep because it explores the themes of fatherhood in a way that haven't been explored in a long time.
And Black Panther explores the themes of leaving a child behind.
No. Black Panther, man, that explores brotherhood.
Honestly, unironic. Well, cousinhood, technically.
I'm just saying. You will probably find some video essayists trying to make that claim.
I don't think so.
No.
You have seen? Have you seen the internet? Have you seen
I have.
TLJ?
Well, people, generally the people who like TLJ don't like The Mandalorian as much.
No.
Have you seen those season 8 defenders? They'll bend reality to fit their narrative.
How many season 8 defenders are there?
We came across a few.
They all just blame Martin for. All of them just blame. Oh, it's George R. R. Martin's fault. Like
I can only think of 2 offhand.
No, they'll blame the fans.
I can think of 2 offhand, and one of them I forgot what their name was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
was it Movie Bob? That was one of them too.
I don't think Movie Bob really defended it. He said like, it makes sense that the person. It makes a little bit of sense, but it was really rushed. It thematically it makes sense that the person who was like the charismatic ruler turned out to be a psychopath in the end. It totally makes sense.
Yeah, because that wasn't already played before.
And like he just said, like he said the weirdest thing I have ever heard, that Game of Thrones isn't really Martin's take on isn't really like Lord of the Rings. It's more like Lord of the Rings is like Mary like Chrétien du Trois, while Game of Thrones is more like an edgy version of Shrek.
What?
What is that? Where do you get that from? David Benioff himself?
No,
He wouldn't have heard of Chrétien du Trois.
Movie
That's
Bob
like something so retarded that sounds like something he would say.
I'd never even heard of that, to be honest. The first part.
Well, Chrétien du Trois, 12th century chivalric poet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Major influence on Arthurian mythology. Not
it's
mythology.
So thematic. My themes.
Well, it's like
how did it make you feel?
It's a book, so.
Well, it's kind of the weirdest.
It's a bunch of books.
Thing. So it's basically like he said, like he's kind of rebutting like the idea that Game of Thrones is epic fantasy, and he's just saying that Game of Thrones is basically just edgy Shrek. Like that's what he's saying.
I still don't get that, because that sounds wrong. I've never seen the show, but from what I've observed, that sounds really wrong.
Edgy Shrek.
Welcome to Movie Bob.
How the hell did he come up with that? Like that just felt like it came out of left field.
Movie Bob is the Pat Monahan of movie reviews.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah,
Pat Monahan is the guy who wrote Drive By and Hey Soul Sister. He's the guy.
Neither have I seen.
Yeah, you need to get away from the references and tell us what you mean in terms that.
Okay, so he comes up with really, really, really bad lyrics, like the way that you can cut a rug, watching you's the only drug I need, so gangsta, I'm so thug.
Okay, yeah, now we know what you're talking about.
Now we're hitting rock bottom.
Yeah, that was incredibly incoherent.
Yeah, like there's another one in that song that's so weird. It's like, my heart is beating out of my untrimmed chest. Like, why do you need to tell us your chest is untrimmed?
Yeah, we don't need to know that. Shut up.
Yeah, like that song is so awful. And like your lipstick, it starts off as it means to go on with the line, your lipstick stains on the front lobe of my left side brain.
The fuck does that even mean?
I don't know. It's like it's a terrible version of Your Kisses on My Mind.
Themes.
And it's not even themes.
A theme, so it's great.
Well, it's just so bad. Like
but my themes though.
It's not even. There's not even themes there. They were trying to do an In Excess song, and yet somehow like crapped out "Hey Soul Sister." How did that level of failure even exist?
Yeah. That'd be something. I just want to quickly, I want to say that back to Black Panther is that Wakanda is a parody in of itself because it's the most advanced civilization in the world, and their roads are still made out of dirt.
Well, they fly. Why would they need
they fly now?
Actual roads.
Oh, they fly now.
They decide, and they like the king is decided via trial by combat.
Like, what if he was like really retarded but only good at combat?
You mean lure over there?
Yeah, like Killmonger, because like he burns all of the flowers that give him the power. So next time he has trial by combat, he won't have any way to get his powers back.
Wait, what?
He burned in Black Panther. Like he burned the whole garden.
Man.
He burned the whole garden.
I bet I bet they did that so no one else can have it in any other Marvel film.
Yeah, I bet that must have been a reason for them to kind of fill in a plot hole.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, well, if you have another trial by combat, Killmonger, it's like you burned the whole the flower power garden, like no more.
Yeah.
Good job.
I
Anyway.
used to think it was good because like I watched School of Movies do a like 2-hour like live discussion on it, and like there's like a lot of like interesting themes to it, and then I just watched Mahler, and like Mahler just destroyed that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we need to. I think that it's a very bad. It's very Noble Savage-esque.
Yeah,
it's very Noble Savage, and it's tired and stupid. And yet, for some reason, a lot of people gave it a 93% and on Rotten Tomatoes. And originally it was 100, and then a few people gave it a bunch of negative reviews, and then people started screaming that it should be 100.
You should play that the nostalgia critic clip, like all the normies.
Like the survey says.
No, it's the one that was like incoherent, blah blah blah. Is movie good? Something like that. I forgot.
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Stop bringing logic into a movie! Random, incoherent, juvenile shit happens, things explode, and people empty their wallets to see it!
Yeah!
That's Black Panther right there.
Ta-da.
Though Black Panther is like trying to be intelligent, whereas the Michael Bay movies are not.
But at least Michael Bay knows what he's doing. He doesn't go around saying like this is the most important movie you'll ever see.
I still enjoy the first Transformers movie.
That's the only one I can call a movie.
Yeah.
Like 2 is almost like a parody of the first one. It even follows a similar structure and plot.
My engineering teacher in high school, huge Transformers fan. After he came out of that movie, like the week after I talked to him about it, he said, that was one of the worst pieces of shit I ever saw. I kind of thought he was going to throw out his Transformers.
And the third one's even worse than the second one. You got Deep Wang accosting Sam Witwicky in the toilet.
Deep Wang, is that supposed to be saying something? Is that like a
it's saying that China is the only one buying this shit.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's actually like I don't know how like Chinese people weren't offended by Shang
because they were making fun of the right Chinese people.
Right.
Yeah, the crazy conspiracy theorists who have their manifestos in their pants.
You know?
Yeah.
It's that button.
So, but yeah, I think like a big part of it, like satire, you got to be really careful with like making the obvious jokes, because if you make like super obvious jokes, you won't be able to. Your audience is going to boo you out of the theater.
The thing about that is I don't think that's entirely true, and I say that because Romeo and Juliet is technically a satire of Italian teenagers. I referenced before, I've talked about before, the one who studies medieval culture and history and literature said that Romeo and Juliet was supposed to be a satire of just Italians in general. Apparently nobody's liked them even since the Middle Ages, but that it was supposed to be, people were supposed to laugh at how stupid teenagers could be. And it was supposed to be very obvious for the time that it was a satire.
That's hilarious because now it's treated as a serious romance.
It's inspired New Moon. Wasn't that the one inspired by Romeo and Juliet?
The movie with the psycho crazy suicidal woman who wants to kill herself.
Oh, She
can see her boyfriend again.
But hold on. She wouldn't, even if she killed herself. Like she'd be dead, and he'd still be technically alive. What I'm saying is, this plan has some holes in it.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It's movie logic. It'll work out.
Well, guess what? When the sun finally burns out, she'll be waiting in hell for him.
Yeah.
Like, well.
Yeah, Edward is going to go to hell because I firmly believe that Edward is going to go to hell when he dies.
He's a vampire man.
Yeah, fucking stalker.
Yeah.
It'd be something. And on the satire thing, honestly, Shrek is like pretty much the modern day satire, because that whole thing satirizes fairy tales and the tropes.
And Disney in specific.
Yeah, which makes sense, because I think one of the founders of DreamWorks left because of
Katzenberg.
Jeffrey
Katzenberg.
So
this was basically his finger right in the face of Disney.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's pretty much like that. So it satirizes fairy tales and all that thing, making fun of them, making fun of the tropes, just a bunch. And even me personally, I would say I'm not a big fan of the first Shrek. I don't find it as funny as most people. But
I love the second one.
Yeah, the second one is way better.
Yeah, the second one's infinitely better. Yeah, I do think that there's some interesting dark humor in Shrek if you actually.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So are you aware of the Mama Bear thing?
Oh yeah, the one where you follow the journey and then she becomes a carpet.
Yeah, where you just see what.
Or like another one is like when Fiona explodes a bird.
Yeah,
and cooks her eggs. So, yeah, there is some dark humor in there.
Yeah, she doesn't she doesn't decide to raise them. She just cooks them.
Yeah, that joke I did like. It's like, oh, it's like it's unexpected. So
yeah,
Did subvert your expectations
in a good way.
Yes. Or when you see Mama Bear in a cage with her husband, and the baby is in a small cage, and then later you see Mama Bear is not there, and you just see Dad and Baby Bear, and then you see Lord Farquaad's private
his room
place, because you even see a little boner where he pull. If you look carefully.
Oh my God!
Yes, there is. I know.
There's a little thing poking up, and he pulls up his blanket to conceal it.
Yes, it's like, amazing. You go back to the shows and stuff you watched as a kid, and you're like, oh, you notice the jokes you didn't catch as a kid.
Yeah, and then you in that room, the camera pans past, and you see a dead bear skin with a pink bow on it, which is so Lord Farquaad skinned Mama Bear and turned her into a rug. That's dark.
Wow. Yeah, it's pretty, and we still get these similar satires, today. The last film I saw in theaters before they shut down due to the pandemic was The Hunt, which is basically making fun of everyone on the political spectrum. And it's hilarious as well, because I first heard of that film, basically a lot of people were thinking oh, it's just making fun of people on the political right. It's like, oh, they're hunting people like Trump supporters or conservatives, etc. But then I watch them no, it's making fun of everyone, honestly. So
that's actually the best way to do things, where you make everybody look stupid. I think that's actually a very good way.
That's why I can't bring myself to watch the new Animaniacs, because I know for a fact they're just going to be punching a dead horse already, or kicking a dead horse.
Yeah, I have seen the new Animaniacs, and while I will say that I do think it's good, and they do have some pretty decent jokes in there, but there are a decent amount that are like, okay, we get it. You don't like Trump, you don't like this, that. Yeah, we know, we know this already.
I fucking hate Trump. Is that movie?
Yes, Quentin. Yes, that's just such an odd way to start a review. It's like, yeah, well, thanks for letting us know.
If I ever make a review, I have some notes that some things I should not do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we've kind of we've spent more time talking about parodies than actually like deconstructing them, because they're actually not that complicated, really. They're at least like in terms of discussion, they're harder to like do than they are to like discuss and break down.
Yeah, like you said, the basic thing is like you have to have the knowledge of what you're doing. Like another example I would say that I saw last Halloween was Cabin in the Woods, which I wanted to see for a very long time. And, I just love because basically it's like, oh, like, like we know the tropes with the horrors. Like we have our nerd, we have druggie, we have the pretty chick, we have the jock, etc. And like, for example, like, oh, they're about to make a hard decision. They're going to stay together and figure this out. And then the people at the control room are like, oh, no, we can't do this. Insert this, mist, this brain mixture so that they split up, to do the trope. And like, it just totally blew my mind when it's like, oh, I was like, what is this thing that they're, pumping every time it goes down? It's like, oh, it's like every time one of them dies, it like fills like this tomb of like the 5 kinds of people that need to die in this film, and it's like it's just a tomb to keep the monster down. Just like, wow, I was like, man, this is just great.
Genius. Yeah.
So
yeah, I haven't seen it, but I know like bits of it, and like I know that like there's like they have this whole like giant billboard of like stuff that they can throw at these kids.
Oh yeah, the whiteboard with the bets and everything.
And then then they show all of them near the end just killing each other.
I enjoyed Cabin in the Woods, but my God, I really wish that what was it? Left 4 Dead could have gotten that deal with the Cabin in the Woods, because there was supposed to be a level based entirely around the complex underneath the cabin. That's why you see the boomer and the witch and the tank in the cases.
Oh, that's amazing. That sounds awesome.
That would have I wish somebody would have modded it, for God's sake.
Man,
I would know the layout. I'm actually a map maker myself. I can probably look into that.
Yeah, that'd be something, and like on the going on is like another one earlier than these films was Scream, which is again also making fun of the horror film trope and the stupidity of the people within these films. It's like talking about the horror film structure and going off. It's like, nope, like never say I'll be back, because then you'll be dead. Don't go out alone, etc. Exactly. So, and all these films work because they know what they are, they know how to make fun, and they do it in a smart and actual funny way. The bad ones usually just reference everything. It's like, oh, just throw in a reference and they'll laugh. Haha.
Yeah.
What my favorite line from that from Scream actually is, anybody want a beer? Yeah, sure. All right, I'll be back. And everybody in the room starts laughing.
Yeah. I think part of it, like it's an interesting kind of comparison between Scream and Cabin in the Woods, because Scream is kind of making a lot of meta jokes, but Cabin in the Woods is coming up with meta explanations for things. I think that's the difference between the two.
Like the whole reason that all the horror films have happened in the past is because of these government things that are trying to keep a dark evil at bay.
And that dark evil is the audience, because
yes, exactly. So yeah, it's quite something else. And I would say one non-horror satire that I can think of is I don't know if y'all seen it. It's Brazil by Terry Gilliam.
I have heard of it. I know very little about it. It seems like it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's basically the whole concept is bureaucracy. It's satirizing bureaucracy and making fun of big governments, kind of dealing like the stupidity within it. Like basically, there's like on a transcript of someone being arrested, like a wrong person gets arrested, like in the film because a fly accidentally fell into one of the machines and messed it up.
Huh.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, so it's funny like that, and I haven't seen it for over a year, so memory's a bit flimsy. But yeah, it's totally making fun of bureaucracy, and like one other thing that sticks out to me about the film is like there's this really like wide angle shot, like close up to the people, wide angle shot, so it's exaggerated, and it's like one of the main government officials, and there's people walking beside him, and it's like showing him a piece of paper, like, what do you think of this? It's like all political stuff, like what should we do about this group? And he says, oh, do this, and it's so making fun of it. It's like, oh, they got so much stuff to do and just coming up with dumb solutions. So, but yeah, so
that kind of, you bring up Terry Gilliam actually reminded me of his cameo in Jupiter Ascending.
He had a cameo in that?
Oh, yeah. That was a movie. What was that about?
It's basically immortal space oil tycoons are using people juice in order to remain immortal. And Mila Kunis is the genetic remaster of their mother. And so she gets Earth and a bunch of other planets, and they want to get it so that they could get more people juice to keep themselves and others immortal.
Yeah, I just remember that film being like, I haven't seen the film, but it like everything.
I've heard it described and seen Blockbuster Buster and Nostalgia Critic reviews, and they're just like funny lines like, I have more in common with canines than I do with you.
Yeah. And then like
always love dogs.
Yeah, and it's also hilarious because Mila Kunis is like, oh, what's her job? She cleans toilets. Wow, what a job! Like her life is the shambles. How do we suggest that?
Oh yeah, and like apparently bees are genetically programmed to recognize space royalty in this world.
What?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, that is an actual thing that they bring up. Like, oh, bees can detect, greatness because bees have a queen in their hive, so they detect your, majesty, and it's like, oh, how nice! Like, good job, good writing.
Wish I were kidding.
Yeah,
I have no comment on this.
Yeah, it's Jupiter Ascending is kind of like an unintentional played straight parody of space opera type movies. Yeah. And it's just like insane. Like it does do some weird bureaucracy satirization where they're like just going through this like bureaucracy. I see you need this particular authorization, which I see you do not have, which means you'll have to get this particular permission and this documentation and this passport. And in the middle of it is Terry Gilliam.
Wow. I didn't even know he was there. That's quite something.
I found that out because Doug Walker's review pointed out that Terry Gilliam had a cameo in there.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. But
yeah.
Basically, in regards to Jupiter Ascending, it's just it's quite something, and weird. It's like, how do we make the bad guy seem intimidating? We need him to yell no really, really loud or go.
Oh my god! It's the fucking Force Awakens thing again.
Oh, it's far worse. It's
worse.
Where everybody just yells.
Honestly, Hux is subtle compared to the bad guy in Jupiter Ascending.
Yeah, I would probably say that as well from the clips I've seen of him.
Quite the fucking achievement there.
Yeah,
you really have to set that bar real low. What?
I create life, and then I destroy it.
Oh my god.
That's an actual line from the movie.
I'm not doubting you.
Wow.
In that exact intonation, where he will scream it out, and then he'll get really silent.
Yeah. Yes. It's so. It's honestly a parody. Honestly, his character is a parody.
Like it is, but I think the problem is the Wachowskis don't have a sense of humor, or if they do, it's really weird.
Well, yeah, they don't really. Honestly, their stuff has been used for memes. Honestly, a decent amount, and just internet jokes. Like I use, I think it was in the last Matrix movie where I used the clip of Smith like laughing in one of my reviews because I think it was a good joke to use, just like him going and making that weird face, like so it's just meme material.
Or like what is it? The like Cloud Atlas, where Hugh Grant and Hugo Weaving are like put into Korean face.
Oh my god.
Hugo Weaving looks like Spock because of the horrible Korean makeup he's put into.
Wow.
Like when they put Halle Berry in whiteface.
Hugo Weaving, that sounds familiar. Who is he?
That's Elrond.
Elrond, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, Mr. Smith from the Matrix is also kind of
Anderson.
Mr. Anderson, I am puckering my lips to show my stature.
Yeah.
Mr. Anderson, I am Elrond. Wait, what?
Oh no, the Matrix is collapsing.
Yeah. And I think like another good example is like The Incredibles and The Boys are kind of interesting like ends of the spectrum in terms of parodies of superheroes. Where the secret identity thing for The Incredibles is basically like, oh, what if superheroes were kind of like made illegal because they're causing way too much damage and people are suing them?
Yeah, it was an interesting. Like I appreciate Incredibles more as growing up, more like now today than as a kid. Because I understand more of the concepts and things they deal with, and all that stuff.
Relevant today because cancel culture would go after superheroes and try to sue them.
Yes, that is true. Yeah.
What? I don't like you. I'm trying to cancel you.
My
only
question about Incredibles, and I'm sure this may have been addressed. What was really stopping the villains from taking full control of everything? If you get what I mean, like it seems like a really bad idea considering supervillains do exist.
Probably cancel culture as well. They figured they'd be canceled too.
But you get what I mean, right? That is my only. But I think the movie does a decent job of sidestepping that because you don't really have a lot of exposure to the villains, if you know what I mean. You see like three.
It's basically just this guy is a narcissistic man-child who really, really wants to.
Jeez, that sounds so familiar to somebody.
Are you talking about David Benioff again?
Syndrome and David Benioff are kind of two. You know what? Syndrome is David Benioff. It all comes together.
Yes, everybody, we need to start making David Benioff Syndrome memes.
Yeah, it's something like speaking like Syndrome, he could have maybe something like to explain like that could have been put in the film is like, oh, the villains are gone because he was trying to make his robot using the villains and killed all them off, or similarly to how he does.
To be honest, I kind of forgot about the villains.
Yeah, there's not money. Like, what villains are there besides Syndrome and the Bon Voyage? I can't think of any.
Underminer.
Oh yeah, the Underminer right at the end.
Who doesn't even get beaten. Even in the second one, he just gets away scot-free.
That I hated the second movie. I thought that was one of the weakest pieces of shit.
I don't even remember it that much.
Yeah, I found it like surprisingly underwhelming. It's like you took like 14 years and this is what you came up with, really? Like, come on, like you could do better than that.
Imagine David Benioff in that orange hair and no, thank you.
Oh no.
Yeah, but like he's like this like narcissistic man-child who like well actually no. Syndrome is more industrious than David Benioff. At least he made stuff. At least he made killer robots.
Yeah, and freaking nice tech.
And he also thinks he knows what's best for the series. So yeah, he's pretty narcissistic.
Yes,
he's book Cersei. If you ever read the books,
yeah,
Dragon fans like to say that.
Yeah, he's very much a books. He's very much book Cersei. But in terms of Iceberg,
Iceberg,
yeah, it's just because, and that's kind of because like. And then like this supervillain who's like trying to take advantage of like meta superhero stuff in order to try and get popular. As opposed, and that's kind of an interesting contrast with The Boys. Because The Boys is very, very different. The Boys kind of takes more of the thing of what if like rather than what if superheroes were like ostracized and turned into like pariahs via lawsuits, and is just this guy wants to get back into the superhero game, as opposed to superheroes are basically Hollywood. And what if the superheroes are just assholes and they need to be taken down by a group of normal guys?
Yeah, honestly, like the idea of The Boys like is a really good one, especially in the modern day and age when, you know, like a bunch of Marvel films and stuff that like, sure, some are good, some are not, but they're the same basic formula. It's like, let's have a change of formula. So, you know, and that's exactly what the original creator of the show, like the comic writer, that's why he created The Boys, was because he's like, I don't like the superhero comics. I'm going to make my own. So where superheroes are bad.
Yeah, like Garth. I think it was Garth Ennis. He like tried to out Preacher, which is one of the most graphic and for the top comics ever written.
Oh yeah. So it is kind of an interesting idea, and like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I'd be on board with that, and it honestly is making fun of like a modern, the people's love for superheroes and that deal, and being like, no, like a lot of these may abuse their powers and. That kind of deal. So, and some of it is done well. And I like in regards to the show, I like the corporate angle they take. Like in season 1, especially with The Boys, is the corporate angle. Like, how would they work as a business? Like, how would someone make money off of soups?
Yeah,
because I never see that before, really.
Yeah. I kind of remember that there was before The Boys, like this is not before the comic, but before the show. I sort of remember something like this where the concept was you had an app for a cell phone where it would dial a hero for you, and the idea was you would pay the service, but I can't remember what it was.
Was this Minute? What's it? It's like something Men. It's
Minutemen.
Minutemen.
I don't remember. Like it was probably
Captain Carper was one of the main heroes that these guys need to rescue.
I don't remember. All I remember was the concept. I can't remember where it came from, sadly.
Wow,
must have been in the early 2010s.
Let me see. Well, I know there is a movie called let me see. I'm looking at Ben Stiller. I know he's in the movie as guy named Mr. Furious, who's basically a Wolverine type character, even though like he's just angry. He doesn't have any superpowers. He just gets super angry. It's it's not a museum. Mystery Men. The movie's Mystery Men. That one is an interesting parody of superhero movies. And it was actually the most expensive movie at that time, which is funny to me. And it made no money, which is sad.
Oh dear.
Oh wow. It had a $68 million budget, and the box office was $33 million.
Ouch.
No.
And that's 1999, so ouch.
Yeesh.
That's a very poor return on investment. That's not good. Yeah, that's a giant loss of money.
Wait, how much did it cost?
It cost $68 million to make, and it only made $33 million.
I'm curious. I know this is not relevant.
And this is 1999, so
yeah.
But yeah, it feels like a definite. I know what like.
Dear God.
So Kirk Cameron Saving Christmas was actually more successful than whatever it is they're talking about at the moment.
Yes, honestly, yeah. Kirk Cameron's had a 4 times multiplier on its budget.
Jesus. Literally.
Yeah, $500,000, and it made $2.8 million.
What about the film that made $200 that you were talking about earlier?
I
think it was Jupiter. I think it was Jupiter something.
Jupiter Ascending? Yeah, Jupiter Ascending bombed really bad.
So it ended up costing more even though it only cost $250. It ended up being a net loss.
I don't know what it was. I think that might have been what is it? I don't know what it was. I can't remember. I just know that just now it was Minutemen lost $33 million or lost $35 million. And the guy literally has corporate the superhero literally has corporate signs all over his body. It's kind of hilarious.
Like a fucking NASCAR driver or something?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Makes sense.
That'd be something. So a quick question for y'all. I've never seen this film, but I think it can fit in one of these categories. Tropic Thunder, where would that be? Would that fit?
I've never seen it, but yeah, that's definitely a parody.
Yeah. I never saw it either.
Yeah, I need to. My friend Tate told me wants me to see it really bad, so I'll get around at some point. There's hundreds of films I have to see.
I don't know whether Clue, the movie Clue, is a parody or a satire of anything. I feel like it could be, but at the same time,
movies.
Maybe, but because it's based on the board game, I don't know.
I know Knives Out is supposed to be a satire of mystery movies.
I know Rian Johnson's supposed to be a satire of a human being.
If Brian Johnson is a satire of a human being, what does that make David Benioff?
I have no attachment to that, but I can only assume a piece of shit.
I was making a mistake.
Honestly, I loathe Rian Johnson with a
I do too.
Passion, but
I do.
At least we don't question his basic ability as an adult human being.
Yeah, I don't question Rian Johnson's basic functionality as an adult like I do David Benioff.
The thing is just with Ryan, it's what I can't get. I don't with him. It's I'm he's he gets asked what do you think of the criticisms of your film? Oh, there's no criticisms. What? Really? You don't think?
Oh my God! I just remembered. Remember what fucking David Benioff did to fucking Emilia Clarke?
Yeah.
When they finally he didn't even tell her what happened to her character and just left her out to dry on that with all those fans.
Changed it after the table read, and she didn't know, and she was just so shocked that she couldn't talk at the fan dinner that she was at.
That's what prompted the Dragon's famous rant at the end. You iTunes gift card as a holiday bonus giving. Blah, 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 mother.
You have the clip.
I know.
Yes,
allow me to grab it.
It's my favorite part.
Yes. You pompous, negligent iTunes gift card as a holiday bonus giving mother.
Damn.
The best part is how that bit with the iTunes. That's the best part, and he says it in the most furious voice of the entire thing.
Yeah.
That's what prompted that. The way he didn't even tell Emilia Clarke what her character was doing.
Yeah, and Last Jedi kind of plays like a parody. Like I think what's his face? Hack Frauds Media said that The Last Jedi feels like a parody of Spaceballs played straight.
No, I'm pretty sure Spaceball had more respect for Star Wars.
I think so.
Yeah.
We are a long way off before Star Wars gets near good.
Yeah.
Hey, but the High Republic came out. If that's not a parody, I don't know what is.
Oh, I forgot about that. I can't wait to see Anomaly make a video on that.
Oh dear. It's like that's actually I wanted like an Old Republic movie, like personally. I was like, that would be like
No, not Old Republic, High Republic. There's a difference.
Yeah, I know, but I was like, I'd rather have like honestly, just like before. Like I don't want to see after episode 9. I was like, what I want to see is just anything before episode 1. Like,
but you get to look at women.
Oh,
I'd rather not. Most of them are ugly,
poorly drawn, poorly designed.
Oh my god, the fucking Captain Marvel drawing! I keep seeing my face.
I think, like, actually, an interesting, like, kind of satire is actually the Disaster Artist, where it's kind of it kind of fits into this kind of definition in kind of terms of it's showing exactly what Tommy Wiseau did behind the scenes of the room, and it's kind of like, wow. This guy is insane.
Yeah.
This guy's nuts.
Yeah.
That man is a national treasure, good sir.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
How dare you?
He is a national treasure because he is insane.
That is true.
Yeah. Well, he also got work, like, you know. He got like a film. What was it called?
Best Friends, and he's making another one called Big Fish or Big Shark.
Yes. So, you know, like, insanity can be beneficial. Insanity can be profitable for some people.
Yeah. Like he just says, like people are just asking, does he know that he's screwing her belly button?
Yeah.
Oh, he knows. He knows. He's enjoying every moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And poor Juliet, the girl playing Lisa, where she had some pimple scars on her back, and he just kept like insulting her because of it. It's just like, oh, I just feel bad for her.
Damn.
Yeah.
Tommy Wiseau is like, and also like the book, The Disaster Artist, is really funny because it just there's even more crazy stuff. Like he just is late every day to set. And like I think at one point, like he just like watched Spy Games, like, and then finally like came out of the back room dyeing his hair, and they were like 3 hours late to set. It's just, like kind of admittedly like playing straight for most of like the stuff in the book, but it seems like it's a satire because of just how ridiculous it is.
Yeah, it honestly is. It's like everyone in the audience when this movie premiered was just bringing their guts out, and obviously can't blame them.
You would think Fire Cannot Kill a Dragon's a fucking parody or some shit, but no, it's real. Here we are.
It's real. It really is real.
And suddenly, you're a Nazi.
Actually, I've read through Masters of Doom, the creation of id, and the Doom games, and if you read through that, it reads like a parody because it sounds like a rock and roll, like a VH1 rock and roll behind the music. You learn that John Carmack swung a battle axe into John Romero's door because they couldn't find the key. It was hilarious. It was one of the funniest shit I've ever read.
Yeah, the best comedy does come from reality. Yeah, there's actually like I think my favorite like funny like satirical book I guess is Science Fair by Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson. It's a 9-hour audiobook for reference. It's a short book, but I frequently just will re-listen to that book repeatedly just to laugh because the narrator's really good, and like there's just some really ridiculous stuff, like this dictator of a fourth world country. It's not even big enough to be called third world country. Is like this guy named Kurdenkel the Strong, and he got elected on the premise of vote for Kurdenkel or die.
Oh, actually, I don't know if this counts, but Discworld is actually really fun.
Yes, Discworld is definitely a parody of fantasy. There's definitely parody.
I will say though, Color of Magic is a rough read. Like, I get that's his first one, but my god, that one is rough.
Yeah, there's some funny stuff. Like Hrun the Barbarian is like this only somewhat smarter than average barbarian.
I like how the first act ends in the town burning down because Two Flower explained the concept of insurance fraud. So Ankh-Morpork just burns again. And apparently this isn't the first time either. There's a lot of good stuff, but it is just a difficult read because its prose is kind of messy.
It probably needs some fine tuning.
Yeah. I think like he did a lot better with the Tiffany Aching series, the We Free Men stuff.
Oh, I was reading actually his second book. Oh god, what's it called?
The Light Fantastic.
Reads a lot easier. Like between one book, he improved quite a bit.
Yeah, that is true. I listened to both, and I found Light Fantastic a lot easier to get through. And I like the Discworld miniseries about it.
Right.
Yeah, where you have like Sean Astin as Two Flower. And what is it? You have Jeremy Irons as the evil mayor of Ankh-Morpork. You have David Bradley Filch from Harry Potter as this half-naked barbarian dude.
Yeah. Who's that guy again? I forgot.
Walder Frey.
Oh, what?
Oh,
you have Walder Frey in a loincloth and boots, swinging around a sword.
Ew! Thanks for that image.
I guess that's what he was doing before he got old.
Well, really old. He is old. No, he is old in that. That's part of the joke. Like, that's part of the joke. Like he doesn't have dentures. Like he's like so old that he's lost all his teeth.
Oh.
I guess he really took the loss of his cat real seriously.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like he's actually like it's actually like almost as if like he got reincarnated. Let me see if I can find a picture.
No, we don't.
No, don't bother.
Oh, I have to. If I must suffer, you must.
I'm not gonna look. So
I already suffer through fire. Can I kill a dragon? And that last movie. So screw you.
Yeah, The Color of Magic is a really funnier miniseries because you also have what's its face, Tim Curry as the evil magician.
Oh, as the Arch-Chancellor or something.
Yep. And you have James Cosmo. You also have James Cosmo as the James Cosmo, G.R. Mormont as the main dude, the main wizard that Tim Curry is trying to kill.
Oh, Rincewind.
Yeah. Well, not Rincewind.
Oh yeah.
Different guy.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing he's been friend zoned too many times.
Yeah. Yeah. What?
Fuck that! I'm just gonna become an evil man.
Because The Boys is a Wolf. The answer to that is because The Boys is a satire of superhero movies.
Oh, hey, we finally arrived.
Mm-hmm. I think that kind of we've talked out the subject and kind of like talked about like our favorite parodies, why they work. Let's kind of devote the next 15 minutes to Q&A, shall we? It'll take a little bit for the chat to catch up, but just if any of you have any questions, we'll spend the next 15 minutes just answering your questions.
Top Secret is the best the spoof movie ever. Fight me.
Oh, I imagine it is.
Has anyone other than me and Lord Commander Dunn actually written parodies?
Only in my head.
I've never been. I'm just gonna outright say it. I have never been thought I was ever that funny. If you know what I mean, like I've never thought my prose could ever really do well as a as parody.
Deconstruction can be parody and satire. Like that's kind of like I think that kind of like it is kind of both a satire and deconstruction.
Well, when I write, I kind of want to make something serious, if you know what I mean. Like if I'm going to write, I'm gonna write something that I feel, I'm passionate about. I've just never been passionate about parody.
But that's the thing. If you do a parody, you should do a parody of something you enjoy, not a parody of something you don't enjoy.
I can agree to that. I just don't think I'm funny enough to do that on my own. I work much better bouncing off people rather than like in a vacuum.
Whereas what happened to me was when I was in my 20s, I was trying to write a serious novel, but it kept turning into parody or even farce. Like by the second chapter, it was already turning into farce. I'm like, eventually I said to myself, no. Then I did parodies for a while. Now I'm finally back to trying to write serious things. But for some reason, I'm just parodies. For some reason.
Yeah,
I think those are doable, even in like serious stuff. Like
okay, what's the thing I can't read very well?
Opinions on parodies of nationalities, for example, is writing.
Yeah, that's kind of old, though. That's kind of.
Well, that's something. That's kind of just something that's been around throughout all of history. If you don't like if you're at war, you don't like another nation, you make fun of them.
Like this stereotype of French being pansies.
Just German scientist. Fucking Richthofen comes to mind instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, if you think about it, the original mad scientist was Frankenstein, and that was a madman, and he was German.
Yeah. Frankenstein,
but yes.
Yeah.
Frankenstein, yes.
Stein.
And
he's not Jewish, he's German.
I know. That's why Stein.
And then what is it? And then Frankenstein made Frankenstein sexy and turned him into an action hero.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that film exists, right? Yeah, it took a minute.
Well, yeah.
And parody and satire often can be combined too. Like in the Fats concept, it's a Tolkien cult, but it's also ultra capitalist. And then I have a whole bunch of them that are from the point of view of a teenaged postmodernist who inserts herself into various works of literature. Like there's one of Lord of the Rings. There's a whole bunch of there's a Harry Potter. She inserts herself into Harry Potter. So people are saying, so it's called this fake teen lingo, like LOL, what WTF, like totally good, like Seth, good. But then they're also tossing in these references to, you obviously haven't read Habermas, dude. And things like that. Maybe you had to be there.
I think I'd need to have a higher level of knowledge in order to get this particular parody.
Not necessarily. I think some of the people I found,
maybe
some of my friends have been amused by it without knowing all that much.
Yeah. I think maybe like if I were writing that, I would be like, I would have a character comment. So some author that I've never heard of that is basically mostly taught in English classes for hipsters. Hipsters, they'd be like, yeah, pretty much. Okay, that explains why I don't care. Yeah. Like just be really like, admittedly, that's mostly because I hate postmodernists and think they're idiots. I really.
But you just said you don't know anything about them. Well, granted, I don't know very much about them either.
Well,
because we didn't really do them when I got my PhD at a university where we didn't really do that stuff very much.
Well, I most like postmodernist. Basically, the postmodernist thing is, in summary, is that it's kind of the critiquing of old systems. That's just the basic thing of postmodernism, and it's really, really stupid. From what I understand, like it's like people like Just Right, Patrick Willems are postmodern, and Lindsay Ellis are postmodernists. And it's
but Lindsay Ellis, you didn't see her Dragon Lady Bad thing? You didn't think that was good?
I think she is a postmodernist in terms of she's a questioning old systems. I think that she like is kind of like a. She's not like a broken clock where she's right like occasionally. She's right like 50% of the time, as opposed to Just Right, who is wrong 100% of the time.
Yeah, this thing with postmodernists, just like, mostly it's like there is no such thing as like, objective truth. It's like, is that claim true? That's what I always think of.
But you see, the thing is that I'm also parodying that, so it's not necessarily that I agree with them any more than I agree with the ultra capitalists who are working for the Tolkien cult.
Yeah, I totally understand like parodying that sort of thing. I think like postmodernists need to be more mocked than they are, to be perfectly honest.
That's fine. Yeah.
Like, they deserve all the mockery they can get because their fundamental position is so dumb.
Anti-foundationalism is old anyway.
Yeah.
People have been doing it since antiquity, so whatever.
Yeah, I much prefer like I prefer structuralism as a form of critique because it actually like makes sense. Because like actually looking at the form and structure of things. But anybody, if there's any other questions in the chat, please shoot them our way. We are at your disposal for the next few minutes.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't do anything to us, please. Wise, you too. Don't do it.
Wise
not like last time.
Wise just wants to hump Neph Champion's leg. He doesn't care about anybody else.
Oh my god!
You don't know that. I mean, when he drinks, he can't tell the difference sometimes.
I didn't know you had. I didn't know this server had, or this discussion had Sims.
It's kind of a joke that Wise Wolf just wants Neph Champion, is passionately in love with Neph Champion.
A lot, from what I remember seeing in the other discussions, a lot of people are for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, probably most of the male population of the group is more or less is.
Let's be honest here. She's the only girl. Let's stop.
When I'm drunk, I still know who Neph is. He says. That sounds about right.
No, you're not banned. No, as far as I know, you're not.
What did you do? What did she do that's ban worthy?
I don't know.
Did she say simp?
Oh no.
I don't know. Like I don't think I kicked you out. Like I don't have a like inactivity inactivity kick thing. That's actually maybe that might be good. Yeah.
Oh, there we
go. Yeah.
I'm just gonna wear this to trigger people.
Yeah. She has a cute voice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have been found out. Well, my career just started, but it's also ended. Goodbye.
Sorry. Goodbye.
This is a tragic moment in the story.
See, creatively, it made sense to us to ban you.
Is there?
Oh no. Yeah. Mod lives matter. Mod lives matter. Mod lives matter.
I thought Tarek was the one who said simps, not enrichified.
I was the one who said simps.
Yeah. And then I said it last second. Okay.
Ooh, the expletive has. I love her cuss words.
That was a White Dragon. He occasionally does it.
What?
Yeah, he likes to
Trigger
mutate
people.
randomly.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, who is not banned?
I just started.
Am I still unbanned?
No.
Same fire as the weeb.
Throwing the Simpsons same fire as the weebs. Unfortunately, that would mean getting rid of like most of my friends these days are weebs.
Yeah. I think
People might get a fucking seizure for the amount of times I switch my avatar.
There's also this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you still have that. Hey, hi, old coworker.
Yeah, I do.
Did you kind of forgot? Oh.
Yeah.
Wow,
I also have this just because it's funny to have George making the finger.
Yeah, I still have my original avatar too.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
Oh, come on.
Hey, I am gonna ram your dumbass.
Phrasing.
Okay, have we got any questions so
Hey.
far? The only one I've seen is, am I banned? To which the answer is no.
Remember, I have touched the big gay.
And all that implies.
Yes.
Ban them all.
Burn them all.
Done and
Like
white.
in Mad King style. Just burn them all.
like
kick
Oprah.
Dun and White.
You can't kick Dun and White. I can't lead a show by myself. I can't carry a show.
Well, I could. Well, no.
I was about to say you of all people.
Hey, Flareon, your name still has the fucking Benioff meme on it still.
Yes, that's gonna stay there.
Kick walks and weeps. Never the only one for me.
Okay, there's an actual question here coming up.
Yeah.
No, up there.
Favorite satire in fantasy?
Uh,
Kind of. Swine, Ice, and Fire is like a little bit of a satire. Well, deconstruction / satire of fantasy. I think We Free Men / Discworld are the main ones that I have. That's mainly because like those are the only ones I'm aware of.
Yeah, I'd have to go with Discworld too. I haven't read a lot of satirical fantasy, but I like the world that Pratchett built. It has rules. It does very well as its own world and a satire because of that. The world building is really good.
Yeah. Where like hydrophobes hate water so much that they can push it away from them.
Or that magic literally has a mathematical quality to it. As much as you put in is how much you get out.
Yeah.
What, conservation of magic?
Yeah, the conservation of magic. Actually, I was so inspired by that I can't say I stole the idea because magic in what I'm writing does not work the same way at all. But it's the idea that the more you push in, the more strain it is on your body.
No. The more you push in, the more strain it's on your body. That sounds pretty explicit.
Terry Pratchett is my favorite author. Yes, I do love Terry Pratchett. Terry Pratchett is hilarious, though. I think my favorite of his books is Good Omens. I love Good Omens so much.
I've only read The Color of Magic. I gotta pick back up the light fantastic again. It's been a while.
Is there one where a death goes on a job interview?
You redeem the avatars by besting Pratchett.
Okay, I missed that one.
Basically, redeem the avatars by turning into David Benioff and D.B. Weiss.
No, we did that before.
Yeah, I remember one time we just showed up as David Benioff and D.B. Weiss with our avatars, and we just said, "Hey, my name is David Benioff. We'll be lecturing."
No,
you.
that was I think that was when we were on Normal Inc.'s channel.
Yeah, that was on Noms back in the day when Noms was still doing some of this stuff.
We did both. We did it on our stream too.
Yeah, you did it a couple of times. You've done it more than once, yeah.
Yeah, we did it for one of our streams.
And you think somebody was George, we and him, I was Blyce, and they have been off, and Noms was questioning us.
Who was George or Martin? Who was that one?
It might have been me. I think it might have been me, like swashing back and forth. Yeah. Simps are kind of incels-ish. Yeah.
No, they're just thirsty.
That too.
No.
Yeah. I think but like Good Omens is basically a parody of apocalypse films or apocalypse stories where an angel and a demon who were around since who were the angel with the flaming sword and the serpent from the serpent who tempted Adam and Eve are best buddies, and they're trying to prevent the apocalypse by raising the Antichrist to be neutral.
Huh.
And they figure out in the middle, wait, the kid that we've been and trying to raise for the past 8 years is not the Antichrist. We've lost the Antichrist. Yeah. It's really funny because there's 3 babies instead of 2, so there was more of a game of baby musical chairs. Yes, I know. I love Good Omens too. What? Yeah. That's the premise. And then at the same time, there's this crazy witch hunter guy named Sergeant Shadwell who is says he's trying to hunt witches using pins and a birthday candle and a bunch of a birthday candle and a lot of other dumb things. It's so funny.
Yeah,
it is legit one of the funniest books I've ever read. And then at the end, there's the four horsemen of the apocalypse are basically a biker gang. Like instead of riding horses, they're riding motorcycles.
Of course.
Like in the medieval times, like, oh shit.
Yeah, sadly, I can't answer really this question.
Yeah.
I don't think. In terms of satire, like in terms of film, I don't know. Like, only one I can think of that comes to mind is Monty Python. Like, and that's not really. I don't know if that was really a satire. But yeah, so yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, YouTube is social media technically.
Yeah,
technically it does because you can comment and you can make accounts and those kind of things. So yeah, it does count as a social media platform.
And you're still doing, and it's not even if you're not doing text, you're still doing it via voice. It's still being social and it's still media.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm done. I apologize. I got to drop. I got to take care of something while there's still light out. So thank you again for having me on, and I look forward to being here again.
See you, piece of shit.
Have a good night, guys. And,
Goodbye.
White, fuck you.
Fuck you too.
See ya, guys.
An asshole.
Bye.
What the? Okay, what's this?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah.
I would. Ew.
Yeah. If there are no other questions in the chat and they're just basically chatting about Simpson neckbeards and incels, I think that we will have to conclude.
Hurrah.
Why? What's wrong with this conversation we're having? It's totally productive.
You know where I live. That's technically a question.
Yeah, we're banning people. So productive.
Yes.
Be safe. Crazy life. You know.
And I have to make sure that my secondary Discord community is not posting random shit in the announcement board.
The Sims discussion is getting so
It's a little weird that there are no questions actually about parody, apparently, but there we are.
Educational.
Chronicle.
I know it's educational. I'm just saying that, like, if there are no further questions from the chat within the next minute or so, we'll have to call it good.
Yeah. Do you not have any questions about parody? There are lots of things you could ask about it.
Or even just any question.
Like a parody, like Blarion's taking over the world.
That's not a parody. That's the plan.
Yeah, so just ask something. They're very short on time. So.
Okay, the budget. Has Blurgon destroyed the budget again?
No, you're fine.
What about Nazi parody? What even is that? You mean parody by Nazis or of Nazis?
I think parody of Nazis, probably.
I maybe I can say Top Secret, maybe in a way.
Hogan's Heroes.
The Producers. The Producers is an example of Nazi parody where Springtime for Hitler is intended as this giant bomb, but somehow in order to get insurance fraud money, and yet it becomes a big hit.
Was it for a tax write-off? Is that what it was for?
I think so.
Interesting. Yeah.
For Hitler and Germany.
I mean, I can't think of anything really in terms of Nazi parody. That's kind of specific. I mean, a movie that kind of makes. Well, I mean, a movie that makes fun of them, or like at least the things they believe in, is Jojo Rabbit. I mean, that's the results around.
That's actually a very good example because Jojo Rabbit's actually really funny, but then like it transitions into getting very, very dark and serious at the very end.
Yeah, it does kind of in that way. It just makes fun of more of the ideology that surrounds them. So, so
which is kind of like why people think that like Nazism is a big problem nowadays, or just like I just cannot take you people seriously.
No, it means nothing anymore. Being called a Nazi is nothing because the term's just been so overused. So
well, I mean, there are white supremacists roaming around the place killing people sometimes. So
there are some legit ones out there. It's just that people are calling everyone Nazi all the time and stuff. It the effect of the insult or the accusation has just gone down because it's just so overused.
It's been that way for decades, though.
The point that it's meaningless.
Yeah, it's pretty
kind
much
of like what happens to the word socialist too. To be fair, like the word socialist is so overused. Like anything that could benefit anyone who isn't a billionaire will get called socialist.
Yeah, so the ethics of that somebody takes literally, like with American history. I'm a little bit confused. Could you clarify? But I think like in terms of like Nazi parody, it would really depend on what you're parodying, since ultimately Nazism is ridiculous.
Shit.
Like they're basically a bunch of geeks who formed a club and started looking for magic artifacts.
Who, the Nazis?
Yeah. Like Hitler was obsessed with magic artifacts. Like he was obsessed with like the King Arthur myth and crap like that. He's a nerd.
Oh, he was a nerd? Oh no. Now I feel sullied somehow.
Oh, good job done. Wow.
So basically, Hitler was one of us. He could come on to one of one of these live streams and fit right in.
Well, that's just the thing that like the looking for the Ark of the Covenant, that actually happened. Like stuff like that happened. Maybe not like exactly that, but Nazis wanted to find mystical artifacts to gain an advantage in World War II. Like it's really kind of funny. Yeah, well, yeah. It kind of is. They really wanted to try and find weird things. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess I never thought of that way with Indiana Jones. Yeah, it's kind of could maybe fit in the parody.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Indiana Jones in a while though. I saw that film way too young my first time because the ending with the face melting off scarred me as a kid.
I think it scarred most people, though. I think the heart tearing out was scarier, though.
Oh, and the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so it tops. Tear your heart out and lower you to be burned alive in the lava.
And somehow you're still alive, even though your heart has been ripped out.
Yeah.
Sounds a riot.
Mm-hmm.
I think one example of that might be an interesting thing to look at in terms of whether it's a parody or not is Flash Gordon or Excalibur, because Excalibur, it's interesting because Monty Python and the Holy Grail came out before Excalibur, as opposed to Excalibur being parodied by Monty Python and the Holy Grail, which is kind of hilarious to me.
Oh my god, the fucking Excalibur from that Disney TV show.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail goes back to the 70s.
Excalibur, the movie by John Borman, who...
Yes, I know. Well, actually, I don't know.
John Borman's interesting. He's not a very good filmmaker in a lot of ways. He does terrible action, and he's very much a very weird about sex.
Oh,
it's weird. It's not like
oh, what's this? What's that?
All right.
About simps.
Okay.
Welcome to my TED Talk. Today we're discussing simps in scientific terms.
Yes, this is very important to know, everybody.
It's
beneficial for society. Okay.
We didn't have simps in my day. You get tossed in the dungeon for talking that way in my day.
Alrighty.
Why I wanna.
So I think that we shall conclude it there, and I think the only appropriate note to end on is this.
What the fuck did I just watch?